We are often taught that the first founder to reach the market is the one who wins. But in reality, being first is often a liability, and the biggest prizes usually go to those who arrive late. Early search engines mapped the web years before Google arrived. Larry Page and Sergey Brin didn't invent the category. They simply waited until the early players had already cleared the path. Napster and the early file-sharing pioneers fought the expensive, losing battles against music labels for over a decade. Spotify entered the arena only after the industry was desperate enough to accept a new model. Electric cars failed for a century before Tesla reached global dominance. Their success relied on a specific moment when battery costs dropped 85% and charging networks reached a tipping point. Data from Itonix shows that nearly half of all first-mover companies fail. For those who follow slightly later, that failure rate drops to just 8%. Pioneers collapse because they have to pay for the market's education. They spend their capital convincing customers that a new solution is even necessary, leaving themselves with nothing when the market finally wakes up. Early entry also leads to rigid infrastructure. Founders get locked into early designs and capital-heavy systems, making it impossible to pivot when consumer habits shift. Dominance goes to the company that watches the pioneer's mistakes and launches at the exact second the market is ready to pay. Fast followers enter a market that is already de-risked. They have clear reference points, educated buyers, and a roadmap of exactly what the customers hate about the first-generation products. They wait for the dam to break. When technology, infrastructure, and consumer habits finally align, the pent-up demand is released all at once. Brands like Coca-Cola achieved category dominance not because they were the absolute first invention, but because they controlled distribution better than anyone during market expansion. Innovation has no value without precise timing. This logic dictates every conversation inside a venture capital boardroom. Investors know that a good idea is only a fraction of the success story. This is why the most critical question a founder faces isn't about their product, but their timing. Why now? To answer this, founders must point to a specific technological shift. They have to show that something previously impossible is now feasible because infrastructure costs have plummeted. They look for market evolution, a sudden shift in how customers behave that creates a massive addressable audience that didn't exist 5 years ago. Regulatory and economic forces act as the third and fourth drivers. New laws or shifting interest rates can suddenly mandate that an entire industry change its business model overnight. Finally, they look at industry evolution. This is the moment when legacy incumbents, the old giants, finally stop resisting a new technology and start adopting it. A successful why now argument proves that a convergence of these forces has just forced a window of opportunity open for the very first time. When an investor doesn't see that window opening, they fall back on a generic rejection. You're too early. This usually means they see your product as a vitamin, a nice-to-have improvement, rather than a painkiller that solves an urgent crisis. A customer might ignore a vitamin forever, but they will pay anything for a painkiller curing an immediate, high-priority problem. In an era where competitors can replicate a new feature in a single weekend, software features alone provide very little protection. True defensibility is found in timing, solving that urgent pain at the exact moment the market is ready to pay for the cure. Investors are now trying to automate this timing analysis. New machine learning models are being fed massive datasets to mathematically predict which startups will succeed. These algorithms track funding metrics, industry growth, and founder backgrounds to calculate success probabilities before a human even sees the deck. However, data is only one part of the decision. Venture capital is still a human business, and human beings are driven by emotion. Research from Babson College reveals that even with the best data, investors are frequently guided by a primal fear of missing out, or FOMO. When an investor sees market momentum perfectly aligned with a specific startup, that emotional drive can instantly override their reliance on predictive data. Founders who succeed often intentionally trigger this fear. They don't just show their metrics, they prove their startup represents a unique, rapidly closing window of opportunity. Robust data gets you the meeting, but triggering an investor's fear of missing the right timing is what actually secures the check. Effective founders analyze market readiness as deeply as their business logic. They understand a good idea is not a stationary goal, but a moving target. Being first gets you noticed, but being right at the right time gets you adopted. Before your next pitch, you must identify exactly which forces have shifted in your favor this year. We built the VC Funding Blueprint Kit to structure that argument. It's a complete system for turning traction into a narrative investors believe in. The kit includes our 16-slide pitch deck template, an AI financial narrative engine, and an instruction guide. You also get lifetime updates, AI prompts, and a B2B sales deck. Subscribe for more breakdowns of the startup ecosystem. The world does not always reward the most innovative builder. It rewards the one who arrives when the doors are finally unlocked.